yes, through the traumas, now to transformation. What does that look like? Again, it was the whole conversation with myself and taking ownership of who I am. I didn't know what that looked like. I didn't have the examples really around me. I think there were a couple that stand out in my head. I had a junior high counselor that was super supportive and loving, and Mr. Estes. And he always was supportive. It wasn't judgment, it wasn't shame. And so I can remember that conversation in my head. You're okay, Sue. You're okay. Just keep going, keep going, keep going. And I went and sought out tips and tools and books and workshops. And, you know, from the day Tony Robbins was doing his cassette tapes and selling those, you know, oh, there's Tony Robbins. There was lately, you know, there's Dr. Joe Dispenza, Brene Brown. There's all kinds of incredible thought leaders that I aspire from and get education from. I will like to say, or would like to say, even with all these incredible teachings from these thought leaders, I was still missing a link, meaning they're teaching all this great stuff. However, I'm still in fight or flight. I'm still trying to figure out what love means to me. How do I do that? How do I reclaim, rediscover, and redesign me? So I was looking at getting clarity with Sue, right? And having the awareness. And what I teach is always, first and foremost, is awareness. If you're in denial, you're in denial. And you know what? I was numbing out and I've been in denial too. So I get it. I get it. There's no shame here at all. It's just your choice when you're going to, you know, step into the stuff. And I say it's scary and it's not easy. However, there's so much joy on the other side of that fear and crossing that bridge. The language I use is crossing the bridge of initiation, whether that crossing the bridge of initiation is a conversation, an interview. It could have been a song that you heard that kind of made you go back to a trauma state, something that's in your nervous system, and you then overcame it, right? There's this whole conversation and initiation, again, flipping the script that happens inside us. And I'm going to go a little science here. There is literal, and this was really helpful to me when I was doing my research. And Dr. Joe Dispenza, I've been researching and following his work for probably 13 plus years. And when he first started out, he was showing literally by science neural pathways. So if you have a habituation, the neural pathway is firing and wiring, right? So the moment you start to change that habituation, literally you have a neural pathway that's changing to abundance, changing to love, changing to compassion. And you've got to sustain that. I know that was really important to me because, Kristi, I didn't have a lump that I could see that I was healing, right? It was all in here. And that tactile grounding visual for me was really important. So when I would go into a new conversation in my head, instead of anxiety or fear, and I would replace it with something else, love and trust. And I say love and trust. And again, I alluded to this at the top of the hour. I didn't know what that was. So I had to create the experiences. So you know what I did, Kristi? I literally, because I love animals and babies and all this. So I literally went on the internet and I found videos of puppies and, you know, those baby laughs that are just so pure, and, you know, puppy breath and all of that. That is where I started to gain my love. And then that experience and that new habituation. So I would start changing the fear and putting in a visual of those babies and puppies laughing. And it's a good feeling. Serotonin's releasing and neural pathways are changing. And I could start having external experiences based on that new frequency, that new energy that I'm not only showing up as, but putting off, right? I'm showing up in love. I'm showing up in compassion and confidence. So my experiences then are going to mirror that on the outside. And that was my trust. It's kind of a domino effect. You keep having those experiences and you build that self-confidence and that self-trust moving forward versus, and I think that's really important to hear, because when you're in that fight or flight, it's really hard to make really sound choices. So you lose that self-trust in your choice, right? So building that external self-trust and internal self-trust is really important.
You said something that I have never thought about before, which is that if you have a physical injury, you can watch it heal. If you get
Mm.
stitches, you can wake up and see it heal. You can take a band-aid off and see that the wound is healing. And with some of the things that you're talking, well, all the things you're talking about, the inside work, there isn't any sort of thing to look at to say, okay, this is healing. This is better. So when it comes to someone who wants to do the work and to do the inside work and to go back and perhaps work with a professional and think about how to change the neural pathways, how to dig into some of the things in the past that perhaps are negatively impacting the present, what are some things that people can point to and say, okay, I'm healing? Because so often I think people give up too soon. Well,
Mhm.
this isn't working. I read this book. I'm talking to a therapist. I don't know. I quit drinking, but I don't feel any different. And then they quit and then they kind of go back. So, what are some pointers or some things people can point to say, okay, I'm healing?
Oh, I love that question. And it's so powerful. And it is that heightened awareness that I talked about earlier. You have to make the conscious choice to be in that awareness, be in that awareness of the attaboys. We're talking, this is really important too, Kristi. It's little micro steps. It could be, and when it could be just getting out of bed and saying, you know what? I got out of bed. I'm so thankful. And starting with that, it's micro steps and putting in some gratitude and appreciation and kind of get playful with yourself. I know for me, I talked about the babies and the puppies together. That has been my consistent. And when I'm having a squat day, I literally pull that back up and I'll go on the internet and I will find as much joy as I possibly can to change that frequency. I make the conscious choice to do it. Now, I'm going to go a little nerdy here because there are chemical releases that are happening that your body, your body, is addicted to when you're in that fight or flight, when you're in the drama, when you're in the gossipy. You're getting an emotional charge in your body that says, do it, do it, do it. And your body's addicted to it. So you have to stay in that heightened awareness that says, whoa, 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 whoa. No, no, no. I don't want to show up that way. I'm going to choose love and trust because I've put into practice what that looks and feels like, right? I've made the choice. So my put into practice, it could be gratitude or is gratitude, appreciation, the visuals of the puppies and the kids laughing together and simply building. Simply is the key word. Simply micro steps, building on that. And again, going back to the self-regulating, literally getting out of bed and having appreciation and gratitude for yourself. And you might like this, I literally put my right shoe on first. You don't make left choices, you make right choices. So I have the intention of my day. I put my right slipper on. And the moment I feel myself getting up, I go right into appreciation. I literally just the moment, that second I start waking up, I go into gratitude and appreciation. And you pick yourself up, put your shoe on, your right shoe, because it's not totally left. It's intending, right? So it's kind of these fun little mind hacks that you can do along the way. If I see a W, like a woman's bathroom, worthy, I think of worthy. I am worthy because not, and if, and I want to put a little disclaimer in here because I don't want you to BS your body, BS your nervous system, because that can happen too. We hear all these great inspirational quotes and all this stuff, but if it's not genuine and authentic to you, your nervous system and you're going to call BS on it. You really are. So you have got to get in alignment with that language and put into practice